Okay, hello. All right, so I don't have the best sound quality, but I'm working on it. I just want to drop in. So I just want to drop in real quick and present a two stories. One story that I thought was very interesting was about a soldier. Well, first thing first, let's get down to the meat and potatoes. We have an Amber Alert for um, this baby. Let me. There we go. You can see some of me. So Kennedy Hoyle, from Tennessee, was it's been missing now for about a month. Um, it's the baby is a female, and age now is 2 days. So I can't do the math on that. So I'm assuming now the baby should be 32 days. But I'm not for certain how many days old the baby needs to be to leave the hospital. But unfortunately, the baby's a female. Race is black. with brown hair, brown eyes, about 17 inches. Last seen wearing a black and white polka dot onesies with pink pants. There's a statewide Amber Alert has been issued on behalf of the Memphis Police Department for Kennedy Hoyle. Kennedy is 2 days old, black female, 6 pounds, 17 inches, with brown hair and brown eyes. Kennedy was last seen wearing a black and white polka dot onesie with pink pants. Kennedy was last known to be in the area of a Sedgwick Drive and Levi Road in Memphis, Tennessee. If you have seen Kennedy or have information regarding her whereabouts, please contact the Memphis Police Department at 901 545 2677 or Tennessee Bureau Investigation TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Also, don't hesitate to just, pick up the phone and just press 911. Or if you want the Memphis Police Department non-emergency number, that's 901 545 2677, which was the number right here. So we have an Amber Alert for Kennedy Hoy, about a 30-day old baby. Also, we have another missing Tambria Bird. She is 17 years old. She was missing since January 20th, 2022, so that would make it about 60 days, from Columbus, Georgia. Date of birth is April 23rd, 2004, which means she's 17 years old now. Black female with black hair, brown eyes, about 5'4", 190 pounds. We have an extra photo of her. Both are her. She may be wearing a wig, so please don't hesitate to call 911 if you see her. Also, you can call 1-800-THE-LOST, and that number is 1-800-843-5678. You can also call Columbus Police Department in Georgia. That's 706-653-3231. Just to report a sighting if you see her. Both of these beautiful women, their families and loved ones need them home now. So please don't hesitate to call the authorities and let them know that maybe you think it's them, but you're not for certain and you don't want to get anybody in trouble. It's better to make a mistake and call than and it not be her, than not to call at all and it could have been her. So if y'all see someone that looks like her or the infant, definitely give a call 911 and let them know, and they'll sort all that out. The next issue I wanted to bring across everybody's attention is pertaining to a soldier. What happened was he was deployed And then he came back home and there were squatters in his home. So I did leave the URL up here so that anyone who wanted to actually read the entire story for themselves, they can just probably pretty much Google it, because it's just 4 days old when it was reported. But what happened was, a soldier, he came back from deployment, and excuse me, he actually had a manager for his, I gotta know how to mute this quick so you won't hear me. So this is his beautiful home. That's what it's showing us here in the picture. He had a manager, what do they call it? Property manager, that was managing his property. But for whatever reasons, while the soldier was deployed, he actually had the property manager rent the property out to someone else. But for whatever reason, that person left, and then some other people moved in there. Those people who are in his home right now do not have his authority. The housing, the property manager didn't give these people authority to move there. They just some kind of way made themselves available in this soldier's home, and now the soldier is not in a good place, because the soldier has to go through the channels of getting the people evicted. And what happens is there's a lot of backlog of right now because of the pandemic and everything just starting to open back up. So, cases are in the backlog. This soldier is looking at some months going by before he can get the police to force the law and remove the squatters. The soldier in this article, it reads along the line that he actually already called the police several times, but the squatters are refusing to leave. They're just, saying they refuse to leave because it's the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. And the officer, was able to get some of those people named that are currently living in the home right now. And one of them have a very lengthy criminal history. Now, this is a soldier, and clearly this soldier can defend our country. He can, physically remove these people, but then he would end up somewhere where he don't want to be, because that's not law. And this is just a terrible situation. I mean, because one option he could have is just go sit his butt in the house with those people. But we all know that doesn't, that's not gonna work. He's gonna end up fighting them, and they can call the police and have him arrested, even though that's his home. And so this just sounds as if the law is it's not going so well for the people who are decent citizens. It's a nightmare. This is a nightmare. And these kind of people get into houses like this. This goes on more often than people understand, because an associate of mine says there's a similar situation with where a family member lives, to where it's like they can target women and kind of just some kind of way get the people out of the home that were there before, and all of a sudden now they're your new neighbors, and whenever you come outside they're coming outside as if they are monitoring you from within your walls. And they get to live their lives like it's a dream almost, because they can't afford this. They don't even have the utilities on. So this man has no clue to what his house condition is from the inside. The outside, it looks decent, and at least they're smart enough. They're sophisticated. This is a sophisticated, organized criminal situation, to where they know to make it look decent from the outside, so it won't be obvious that they are not supposed to be there. They're tearing the place apart. No, they're actually perhaps doing some sort of landscaping, or to where I guess they must just be piling up the trash in the back. Who knows what they're doing for as bathroom, toiletries, shower, keeping food. It could just be a stash house, or sophisticated, they turn it into something that, of course you're going to want your home back, but just imagine what they're doing to it is it's sad. But here we have it, that the laws are great for us decent folks who want to live righteously, don't want to just go outside and assault people and squat sophisticatedly in people's homes. The law works great for us. But when people want to do this, the law is like a nightmare for decent people, because we don't want to live next to this. It could be anything in there. It could be anything in there. And it's very unfortunate. This is extremely unfortunate. Now, this is going to be a quick live, because there was another story I want to add to this. There's this man, he's a great scholar. I believe he's a professor as well. And I watched a documentary on him. I forgot his name. Sorry about that. So it's almost like, why even bring him up? But he explains that, his father pretty much was, null and void. And when his mother remarried, she remarried this man that would move into houses that nobody was staying in, and he would jimmy rig, in so many words, the utilities. But it was always, sometimes they would have to just move, and pick back up again, and he would find more homes for them to live in. And he spoke of it in a light way to where I wanted you to hear it, but technically I would probably only be able to show his picture. But he was back in the 70s big on saying that kids should be allowed to work because what they had was truancy laws and labor laws that didn't allow kids to work, and he believed that was the reason why he wasn't in trouble as a child, because he was able to be more constructive with his time. But he spoke light of the situation. And when I initially heard it, because I think I watched it twice or three times, it always sounded very bad to, he probably moved from house to house, if somebody ever could ask him, how many houses did you stay in? How many times did you move when your mom married your stepfather? Because that sounds like the man was very resourceful in that he could, hook up the pipes and the water, but something was amiss because they were not supposed to be in those places. They were poor. They couldn't afford to, pay rent and stuff, and, or have resources to, like I've met people who have friends that live in these big fancy houses, and they pretty much just need someone to, be in the house before a squatter gets in there. And so they didn't have those kind of resources, because I'm pretty sure they still had to pay some kind of utility or something that was not cheap. What can you say? Now, we're gonna leave out on this note. Well, let's play what the soldier had to say. This is the soldier right here. I think we can play this. I'm going to mute my mic. Let's see, how long is it? Okay, one moment.
New tennis soldier who is returning from a year-long deployment says unwanted guests have been living in his house.
It's outrageous. He says several people are illegally living inside his Decatur home. Fox 5's Janice Yu has the details.
He tells me all of his personal belongings are still in the house. His furniture, his truck, his motorcycle, and he doesn't even know what condition it's all in at this point. And he says the hardest and most infuriating part of all of this is that he simply can't have those people removed.
In the last 2 years, I've been only home for 8 weeks. And then the chance I finally get to go home, I don't have an actual house to go to.
Duncan Fowler has spent the last year in Poland, and in just a week, he's expected to officially finish his deployment and return to Decatur. But it's not the homecoming he expected.
We tried to ask them to leave. They didn't leave. The police have been called to my residence now on 4 separate occasions, asking them to leave.
Fowler says he learned people are illegally living inside his home. His property manager is the one who discovered the squatters, and Fowler thinks they moved in sometime late last year. He says his house was rented out at one point, but the people living there now are not supposed to be there.
I'm not authorized these people to be in my property in any way, shape, or form. I have never rented this property to them. They have no lease agreement with me, and the utilities in the property are not on either. So I fail to see how this is not breaking, entering, or trespassing.
Fowler says he's been told he'll have to go through the legal process to remove the people who've taken over his home. A local attorney tells us people in his situation in Georgia have to do just that. Go through an eviction proceeding to establish the person has no right to be there. But unfortunately, Fowler says this probably means he'll likely be without a home for months.
And the issue is getting a court date could take 2 months, 3 months, or even longer, just because the court systems are backfiled from all the people trying to evict people who haven't paid rent over the last year or two due to COVID.
Fowler tells me officers with DeKalb County Police were able to go to the house and get names of some of the people living there, but he was told by police that they are not able to remove the people. In Decatur, Janice Yu, Fox 5 News.
Also, I located this. Now, this is quite disturbing. I haven't watched it. We'll be watching it together. But it says, sickened video shows white South African landowner threatened to burn black man in a coffin. This is a distressing footage of a crying black man being forced into a coffin and being threatened to be set on fire. So I guess this is the other extreme. You have one extreme where people do nothing, and then you have the other side of the spectrum where people just do whatever they want to. And so here's the warning: the following footage contains graphic content that viewers may find distressing. So this is just to show you like polar opposites of why you would want to live somewhere where there's stringent laws, and just shows you how complicated it can get at the same time. So here we go. I'm gonna mute my mic. So the cops couldn't do that. All right, so I'm on my way out. I see you guys next time. I still want to do that Peter Nygaard to show you what, human trafficking is bad. Now, back in the days when I was in school, I've read a lot of articles saying that human trafficking is really, really bad in the United States. It's like the biggest purchaser. And I thought that was, a lie. I never saw that. And, now is as if it's like a big slap in the face and was obvious. But it's just very low-key the way it goes on. Like, for example, you see a man at the grocery store and he has a whole bus load of kids. You might want to call the police and just say, I think somebody got somebody missing kids. Because that's human trafficking, because we all know no grown man is going to be with that many kids, and he's making it look decent, like it's a a big family or something like that, extended family. But no, that's all human trafficking, and it's people involved in it that you wouldn't think. I think baby doctors be involved in it, female doctors and stuff. You see what happened with Mr. Cosby, you know. Um, but anybody who, came in and saw me and saw my little views and thought they was gonna, want to come in and help my little viewership. Thank you. Let me just thank you in advance. I'm looking right now into the camera. So I want to thank you in advance for that. Also, please partner with me and, give. We'll take the things that jingle, but we much rather have the things that fold. My Cash App is $decrease crime. And my little slogan is decrease crime is free. And, we're going to have to be brave and stand up to folks because it's going to get worse. And I think human trafficking, a lot of these issues with violence and stuff, it seems like it's a woman issue, and men, I've been told by men that say, this is women issue. They don't see their part in stopping it. A woman being taken advantage of, they don't necessarily feel like that's their call to action, because there's children's, what we call descendants of Ham, where with Noah, as we can see, we're living lawless, like during the times of the Bible, before the flood, where it was robbery, violence, and pervertedness. And so that's what we got going on nowadays. But there is a way to turn this around before God starts cooking, and it's because it's getting worse and worse. Like, pandemic happened and you thought people would go sit down, right? But as you can see, it was just like with Pharaoh. He wouldn't let those people go. So, they don't want to let, this is just, getting out of hand. I think another opinion of mine is that a lot of nationalities look at black women and they kind of say, like, what's wrong with y'all? Because for one, you women had to raise these guys, because that's what they say. You've raised me. I didn't have a father in the home. And you may not have a father in the home, but there was a man somewhere around making certain that things didn't go quite right, so that she would be vulnerable, so that your mother would be vulnerable to this women's issue, where men don't feel like, hey, if all women, if you had a man, you wouldn't have to worry about having to square up with a man, having to defend yourself with dude that just got out of prison and trying to show his sons, quote unquote, the ropes. If you had a man, and then that man, now he's coming in trying to act like Mr. Presidente, Mr. Human trafficker. And for those that don't know, human trafficking is the new word for pimping, where it's you could have drug trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking. It's all the same thing. It's the purpose of it is to take advantage of marginalized. Marginalized would be women and children. For example, you take a man my same height, my same weight, he's still physically stronger than me. That makes me marginalized, and that I'm weaker than him in that physical sense. Because if they want to be a brutal beast, then that's what human trafficking is, like, racketeering, just to give people an idea of what's kind of going on. Why do you find that? There's another video I want to show you, and I'll show you that one next, where this man called a woman a derogatory racist slur, and I don't know what it was. They muted it. They all seemed like they was the same nationality, but I guess they might have been a slight difference in the ethnicity. But nevertheless, the moral of the story is that one guy came, looked like he was dropped off. He was the one that was calling people names. He had a good one. That's what I call a good one. He was knocking folks to the ground, men, and there was a lot of guys out there. I mean, he had enough for all of them, knocking 3-4 down, boom, 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 and they some of them stayed down because it didn't wear off yet, but they kept on getting at him, And I feel like with black men, they won't do that. They would have offered the female, they would have sacrificed the female, Nevertheless, they would not have, figured out, hey, it's too many of us, it's just one of him. And I think that's the problem we have, where you will have that one, dude, he got a good one, and no one is standing up to him. No one. And the guy was small. He wasn't like the biggest, like he was smaller than everybody else, technically in stature, but he just had a good one. That's what I call it. He had a good one. He was just squaring up with him, and he was getting the best of them. And but they kept on going, and I think he had to turn himself in, but they did what they what they could. They didn't offer her up, and that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of nationalities say, hey, look, your men, they won't even fight for you. They actually fighting you, so evidently you doing something wrong, and I think we should just let them finish you off, because they're taking care of our light work, technically. Because if they take y'all off, it's not gonna be any more of y'all, so it's like losing greatly by default. And the way the black man hassles the black woman is very shameful. I mean, women, I almost want to say we should never ever have a smile on our face. Like, we should just have like we've been eating lemons. Like, when we talk and everything, we should just be looking like this, just a straight on hard face, just straight out, just because our men, for the most part, are very shameful. They will not protect us. There's a big wig who said he won't protect us. He can't protect us, and nothing happened to him. He got set down, but it wasn't for saying that. And look like now he's back on top. Back in the saddle or whatever. But who knows how long. We never know, because it's not over until, like they say, until the fat lady sing. Dang, I should have left that long. But it is what it is. What can we say? If someone is scared, they don't have it in them to fight, or if someone only know to fight, like, maybe the only thing is to square up, and you prefer to square up with someone that you're gonna you're going to win. That's all you know, but it's very unfortunate So I say that to say till next time, definitely cash at me. I'll be happy to receive whatever I can. I can use this to help someone else that's in more need than I am. Definitely can use it to help to be able to bring more content on a consistent basis. But thank you for, some people who wanted to give but just probably couldn't. I thank you in the spirit. God bless. I love you. Until next time, stay blessed. Enjoy the rest of your evening. All right.